This is today's breaking news, July 15th with digital insecurity. Welcome back to Digital Insecurity. Today I'm going over some hot news that came up today. And every night I think, okay, tomorrow's going to be the day that I'm going to tout great news. I guess that's another channel. Here we go. Microsoft says an Israeli company is responsible for hacks. So let's take a peek at this. Microsoft says Israeli company is behind malware that affected Windows PCs. Microsoft says private Israeli firm has helped government hack journalists and human rights advocates. Microsoft says it blocked spying on rights activists. Israeli firm sold tools to hack Windows, says Microsoft and Citizen Lab. So let's go ahead and take a peek at this one here. This is CBC out of Canada. Israeli firm sold tools to hack Windows, says Microsoft and Citizen Lab. This is Science, CBC, and this got distributed through Thomson Reuters. That was today, and it says here 4 hours ago. An Israeli technology company sold a tool to hack into Microsoft Windows. Microsoft and technology human rights group Citizen Lab said on Thursday. The hacking tool vendor, Candiru, created and sold a software exploit that can penetrate Windows, one of many intelligence products sold by a secretive industry that finds flaws in common software platforms for their clients. Technical analysis by security researchers details how Candiru's hacking tool spread around the globe to numerous unnamed customers and was then used to target various civil society organizations, including a Saudi dissident group and a left-leaning Indonesian news outlet. The reports by Citizen Lab and Microsoft. Attempts to reach Candiru for comment were unsuccessful. Evidence of the exploit recovered by Microsoft suggested it was deployed against users in several countries, including these countries named here in the Citizen report. Candiru's growing presence and the use of its surveillance technology against global civil society is a potent reminder that the mercenary spyware industry contains many players and is prone to widespread abuse. Microsoft fixed the discovered flaws on Tuesday through a software patch. Microsoft did not directly attribute the exploits to Candiru, instead referring to it as an Israeli-based private sector offensive actor. So there you go. Everybody's being tracked, and if you're not doing what they want, you're the target. Okay, here we have Seattle Times had their version as well. Microsoft says private Israeli firm has helped government hack journalists and human rights advocates. That also came out today. This one came out about an hour ago. And this one says an Israeli hacking for hire firm, so it's a service, helped government a client spy on more than 100 victims around the world, including politicians, dissidents, human rights activists, embassy workers, and journalists, according to Microsoft report. And it goes into more details here. Now, I wonder how many were monitored post January 6th. Okay, what else do we have here today? AMD releases a FidelityFX Super Resolution source code for free. So those of you into gaming, this is not just a gaming release. From my perspective with autonomous vehicles, releases such as this just help drive what is possible forward. So here, this article is by Robert Carnaval, and this was 4 hours ago. What you need to know: AMD released a big news update pertaining to its FidelityFX Super Resolution FSR tech. More games are getting FSR support on July 16th, so that will be tomorrow. AMD is allowing free access to its FSR code, source code. So if you're into that, then there you go. Gifts coming out everywhere. There's our good news for the day. What else do we have here? We have U.S. plans to counter ransomware attacks through crypto tracing. So let's take a peek at this. This is Microsoft News. U.S. plans to counter ransomware attacks through crypto tracing. This was posted last night by Billy House, Bloomberg News. The Biden administration intends to crack down on the use of cryptocurrencies in ransomware attacks through a more rigorous tracing of proceeds paid to hackers behind the disabling of companies, organizations, and government agencies around the world, according to people familiar with the matter. In a virtual briefing with members of Congress on Wednesday, Deputy National Security Advisor Ann Neuberger said that the White House had created a ransomware task force and that the administration strategy involved efforts to disrupt ransomware operation, confront the use of cryptocurrency in attacks, and work with allies to encourage other nations not to harbor attackers. She pointed out that there were no cybersecurity standard for private industry and that Congress would have to establish one for that. Yeah, leave it up to the government to figure out what we should do with technology. So there you go. That's US plans to save us all, crypto tracing. All right, this is just absolutely incredible. MonkeyWorks has been talking about this for at least 7 months now, 6, 7 months. And he really honed in on it about 4 months ago. And here it's finally hitting mainstream now that they have absolute documentation. You've got to check out this video from Tucker. It is on YouTube and you can grab it. Tucker obtains whistleblower report on military flying illegal instruments. He outlines step by step it's ridiculous what your taxpayers are paying for, tax dollars are paying for. So here you go. And then of course I wanted to look at this. This is US House Committee advances a China bill without the Republican backing. How about pot calling the kettle? Well, maybe we can't even use that term anymore, but you get where I'm going with that. Didn't we just see this very week Democrats flee the state of Texas so they did not have to do their job? Now, US House Committee advances the China bill. This is known as the China Innovation Bill without Republican backing. Of course, because the Republicans seem to be ethical and aware of what's going on in this world. I have no idea what's going on the other side of the aisle. This was released 1 hour ago. Reuters, Patricia Zengero. As U.S. House of Representatives Committee advanced legislation on Thursday intended to boost competitiveness with China without support from Republicans who objected to some climate-related provisions and said it was too soft on Beijing. The ensuing American Global Leadership and Engagement Act. There you go. They always come up with fancy names. It's a spin. These spin doctors are amazing. Or Eagle Act. Oh, even better. That's all American. And yet there's nothing American about this bill. Passed House Foreign Affairs Committee by 26-20, with Democrats voting yes and Republicans opposing, party lines. The vote came as President Joe Biden's administration and both parties in Congress seek to push back against China's increasing international influence. Few other details there. Okay, so we got the good, the bad, and the ugly today. Quite a bit coming out. It's you know, I can't even say 1 step forward, 2 steps back, because we're barely inching in a forward direction. But as I've said many times before, we all know how this ends. This is breaking news for July 15th, digital insecurity.